Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Ageless Blessings with Brenda Pierce. You've come to the right place for candid conversations, inspiration, and empowerment. Join me with my very special guests as we bring you media that matters on the Divas That Care network. For more about the Divas and to listen to various podcasts, visit www.divasthatcare.com. Now let's get on with the show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ageless Blessings Radio. I'm Brenda Pierce, the Empowered Nurse. I'm here to triage body, mind, and spirit and have a great conversation with our guests. So for more information and, to take advantage of some of the workshops that our guests are bringing forth and connect with them in a further, bigger, brighter way, please visit tinyurl.com/AB Marketplace, and you will be able to take advantage of all that great information. And I am thrilled today to share with you a candid conversation with one of the contributing authors from the book that we are both in that has done amazing things. It went to number one in 3 countries in multiple categories, Light at the End of the Funnel Volume 2, which was actually put together by Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. And so with that, we have Erin Newman. Erin Hill Newman inspires us today with shamanic energy to enlighten and brighten not only your life, but your business and whatever else there is in your life to lighten and brighten. So we are going to share a little bit that Erin is an authentic courage and shamanic mentor. She helps women entrepreneurs to move through doubts, blocks, and fears so that they can finally have the business of their dreams. A graduate of the University of Virginia and fluent in German, Erin has left a successful career in the corporate world to pursue her dream of helping others to discover their inner power. Using a mixture of mindset tools, and powerful ancient practices, she helps entrepreneurs to create a business and life that they truly love. So you can visit her on her group in Facebook, which is Authentic and Courageous in Your Business. Check her out. And we have the links all linked up. And she also will talk about her free guide as well, a free gift just for you, just for listening to this show today and visiting and taking advantage of what's being offered. So welcome to the show, Erin.
Thank you, Brenda. I'm so excited to be here and be with another kindred soul in this online crazy space. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Crazy space or not, it's amazing how the cosmic consciousness has brought us together to have this conversation today. And so a big shout out to Danielle Fitzpatrick and Eric Clark for putting together the book, because it has brought together a bunch of amazing people from all different walks of life who are all here to shine the light on how they developed their business and got through their blocks to fly, so to speak. So with what you do, I'd love for the audience to hear more about you, to share what it is that you had to break through to get through to where you are today.
Well, I feel like that's really an ongoing process, right? We're kind of always going through those little mini breakthroughs and those little mini ups and downs, and sometimes big ups and downs too. So I think what's really important to say is that, the transformation is ongoing, and the transformation is a daily process. For me at least. I was watching this. This is going to be related, I promise. I was watching the Bill Gates documentary that's on Netflix right now, and it's one of my basic tenets that all entrepreneurs have fears, that we all have fears and doubts and blocks, and that we just learn as entrepreneurs to accept that those fears are always there, and then to step around them or overcome them or release them in the way that feels good to us, so that we can go on and do the things that we're supposed to be doing in our business. And it's supposed to be from that aligned place. But last night I was watching that Bill Gates documentary and listening to the way he operates and listening to things he does, and and thinking to myself, I think he truly is in a place where he doesn't have a lot of those fears that most of us do have. And whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know him well enough to know. But I was thinking, like, you know what, I might have to revamp my marketing messages because I'm always talking about how all of us have doubts and fears. And maybe there are a few people in the world out there who that isn't true for. But I think by and large that most of us have things that we need to overcome, even on a daily basis, in order to get out there and do the work that we're supposed to be doing in this world.
Well, I think you're right about that. But, you know, it's interesting because I was thinking back to when I first started to step into media and broadcasting, and it was out of a very difficult place where there was a lot of doubt and fear. I mean, anybody who's gone through divorce knows that there's a lot of uncertainty as you pack up your life and you move forward, good, bad, or otherwise in between, whatever the situation is. But you know, what was the most painful point for me was when I was still in the box of my doubts and fears.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do this? Mm-hmm. Should I do this? Would I do this? What if I don't do this? What if I do this? What if I fail? You know, there's all these questions that go through you when you're ready to take those first trepidatious steps out of the box. But I have to tell you, though, too, and probably Bill Gates did have those fears, too, because, I mean, he, you know, once you are a success, it's completely different. You have like, oh, what was I worried about? But the thing is that getting there is the journey, but until you take that first step, you don't know, right, what that journey is going to be like. So, you know, I don't know. I think you know, once the person's made their breakthrough, you know, that's a whole different thing. But I think when we are addressing the doubts and fears, we're helping to elevate the person who is taking those first steps to realize, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. Let me hold out my hand. Let you take my hand. Let's go. You know, but it's interesting when we see these post-reflective kind of stories where they, you know, who knew what the greatness was at the time. And I think that's what we all are. We don't realize our greatness at the time. And yet if we did know, we would never have a moment of doubt ever again.
We would never doubt, right. If we truly believed that we were divine creations, right, then we would never doubt. And I think it's interesting, too, that, you know, I'm talking about Bill Gates, right? We're talking about Bill Gates. And I think for so many of us, it's like, well, if I'm not going to be able to go out there and make billions of dollars doing what I love doing, then it's not worth trying, right? We put a lot of emphasis or stress around, well, how much money am I going to make when I follow my heart? You know, how much money is that going to bring in the first year? Can I really quit the day job? Can I really, you know, stop doing this other kind of work that doesn't light me up and follow my heart? And I think what we always have to come back to is, what price is it to not follow your heart? You know, do you want to be, you know, I'm always looking at that next milestone. You know, for me, that would be, I'm going to be turning 41, so the next milestone, big one, would be 50, right? Like, do I want to be 50 and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't do the things I said I was going to do, right? You know, and I think that's where we just have to, as entrepreneurs, as people who are following their dreams, whatever you want to define that as, we're continually saying to ourselves, I don't know what the path looks like. I don't know even what 3 steps ahead looks like. I'm going to just step into the mystery. Each and every day I'm stepping into the big mystery of not knowing, and I'm just going to show up anyway. Like, I'm going to show up in this way, whatever feels right to me, and not know how that's going to turn out. I don't know how the, you know, universe is going to reward me, and I'm putting that in quotes, but I don't know what that's going to look like, and I'm just going to show up anyway and take my actions.
I think that is a good way to do it because, you know, stepping into the I don't know leaves you with the what is possible approach. And when we can shed that fear and look at it from more of the adventure stage of what, you know, unlimited possibilities by stepping into the unknown and just let it just be open for the synchronicities. I think that that's where magic really happens in this day and age.
Sure.
So it's shedding the hanging on to something and just being open to anything. With a positive heart and mind, of course, because if you bring in fear and all that sort of thing, then of course that's more of what you're going to get, from my understanding. And I'm sure, if you can, with your shamanic energy that you're bringing into this whole blessing of the life experience, I'd love for you to share how that came about and how that's helping people to be inspired by the work that you do.
Sure. I think like everybody's path, it was sort of a messy blend of a lot of different things that led me ultimately on a path to studying with a shamanic practitioner named Julie Kramer out in Colorado. So I've spent the last 3 years traveling back and forth to Colorado for a 3-year training program. And I found her after a lot of searching and seeking, because I knew that I wanted to be part of a female lineage of shamanic practitioners or shamans. And I just knew that I needed somebody like her who's just a super high integrity level in this work. And what I think shamanism does for me personally, and then I'll bring that back to business, is there's a process called a shamanic journey, and it essentially looks like a meditation involving the use of a drum beat or sort of other sort of percussive instruments so you could get into that theta state. And in that state, that's where we are connected with power animals and guides and helping spirits and all of the beings that are there to support us. And what I think is so powerful about shamanism is that this is work that is meant to be brought into your daily life. This is work that's meant to be supportive of how you are on this earth, who you are in your relationships with, for me, it's my children and my husband and my clients and my peers. I'm very much taking into my practice, my daily journeying practice, the questions that are on my heart, the questions that are bugging me and bothering me. And, I'm angry about this or I'm upset about that. And I take those all into the journey. And depending on which helping spirit I'm working with for that specific thing, we have a dialogue, we have a conversation, we have a partnership where they show me really different ways of looking at things and really different healings and perspectives and breakthroughs. But that all feeds into both my daily life as well as my business, because I work with a couple different guides that are supportive for my business, and then another guide that's supportive around abundance, which obviously has a lot to do with my business, and just in personal life too. But shamanism should work. It should be supportive in your daily life. You should see results, however you define those. Like any other modality, you want it to be one that supports you and helps you to grow and change in your daily life. And I think the way a lot of us view things like shamanism or other kinds of esoteric modalities out there is, okay, that's cool to go do on a weekend retreat, and then I'm going to come back and be in my normal life. And what I think is so important is that this is a tool for everyday life. This is supposed to help you with your business, with the values that you have around money, with your relationship to your parents, with your relationship to your spouse, wherever you're stuck, or stuck's the wrong word, but wherever you're feeling that sense of something's out of balance, this is work that's supposed to help you in that. And, of course it's cool to go do on a weekend retreat too, but, bring it back into your daily life. That's where you're going to see so much benefit and so much change and so much growth.
Well, that's fabulous because it doesn't have to be an either or. It shouldn't be something you go away and do and then come back and then you go, well, that was wonderful, but it doesn't fit into the here and now. So this is amazing that you've been able to see this as an incorporation of the totality of who you are.
Yeah, and for me, that's really important to teach others about too. I think you were kind of asking how I incorporate that into coaching or into a business. And for me, it's really important that people learn the tool for themselves, that people learn how to do a shamanic journey for themselves so that they can have a guide for their business too, you know. They can explore those partnerships and relationships with all of the helping spirits, angelic realms, star beings, whoever they feel connected to or whoever sometimes shows up to be in connection for a very specific aspect of your life or your health or your, chronic pain or anything that's going on for you. There's support out there that's available. And I think what's also really important to name is, for people that are listening that maybe are very left brain and came from a very structured background, that I was also brought up that way. It was go to college, get a job, do what you're good at, make money. That was kind of the very normal American background that a lot of us have. And shamanism is a huge departure from that. And so I personally have really dealt with and continually deal with a level of skepticism that arises for me. This, are we really doing this? Is this really real? Am I really talking to this star being from another star? And what I always come back to is what I was kind of just referencing, that shamanism needs to work. And for me, it works so beautifully, and the information and the wisdom and the healing and the support and the guidance and the beauty of this work is so powerful that, I just tell my conscious, logical, rational mind, okay, maybe I'm making all of this up, and it's still okay because this work is still so powerful that my conscious mind couldn't have come up with these solutions to the problems that I present. So I'm good with it, whatever
as
way
long as
it's
the
coming,
outcome is better than the perceived reality it was before. I think that's the thing, Erin, and I hear the excitement in your voice about this because it was such a transformative thing to do this and step out of the box, that there are so many people out there that are still in the box. And, for instance, my daughter is 24 years old, and we had a conversation just a little bit ago. She says, everything in the corporate world is such like a cult.
Yeah.
And she was explaining it to me. And so here's this girl, this young woman who has a couple degrees behind her, and she's just figuring out that the world today does not work, kind of thing, in the flow and grace of being giving her the benefits of her efforts and that sort of thing. So all she wants to do is eventually have enough money to live out in the wilderness and live on a solar energized house in the middle of nowhere and grow her own vegetables. But to get there, the path does not seem to align. So whereas shamanism offers for somebody, even left or right brain, like myself too, very structured as a nurse and that sort of thing, that shamanism is possible, that even if you are not clairsentient, clairescent, clairvoyant, that this isn't a way of opening up to create that connection that is just there for you. Am I right about that?
I love that explanation, yes. And at the same time, I think it does ask you to set aside, at least for the 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes of your journey, to set aside that level of skepticism for just a few minutes, and to say, I'm going to open up to whatever's coming through. I have never had any claim to psychic abilities, but shamanism to me it's funny because I'm always asking my psychic friends, like, well, what's your process? How do you do this? Because shamanism to me it's a very structured way to do it. There's a process to connecting to these guides. There's a way that you connect in and undertake your journeys, and following that, it can open up, like you said, for a lot of people who wouldn't normally describe themselves in a certain way. And of course, at the same time, there's a million different modalities out there. This may or may not work for you. I don't know. I think what's important to know is that it's another way of getting in touch with source energy, of getting in touch with the divine wisdom that's possible for all of us. And maybe that's not the way that it comes for you. Maybe it doesn't come in the form of power animals and helping spirits and guides. Maybe it comes in some completely different version. Maybe it's art or movement or yoga or another way of connecting to the divine for someone else. But for people that feel called to this work,
you just know when it happens for
yeah.
you. It just clicks, and it opens up a whole vortex of opportunity, and it's fascinating how we find, because we have to. It seems like we have to break down oftentimes before we have a breakthrough, and the thing is, though, the universe always answers our prayers when we get to that place of being humble and open to the opportunity of what else there is. So, you've had yours. Mine was through Reiki. But, it doesn't mean that I would not want to explore shamanism or that you wouldn't want to explore Reiki. But it's whatever opens the door first for us that seems to be, our go-to. And thank goodness for the go-tos, for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it does start to open you up to lots of things. Whatever path you start to begin to explore, it's like, well, why don't I go try, yesterday somebody was talking about quantum hypnosis healing, and I was like, sounds cool, sign me up. I'll go down any path now that sounds good to me, because like you said, you just start opening up to it more and more, and I think it's really just helpful to us as business owners too to have that sense of openness and playfulness, and okay, I'll try this and maybe it doesn't work and I'll try something else, and and all of these modalities can be just so powerful for your business too.
Absolutely. So what I would like you to do right now, Erin, is you do have a free gift, and it is the 3-step method to up-level your confidence and create an aligned, authentic, and successful biz. Can you share the link to that, please?
Oh, boy. I don't think I know the link off the top of my head. I think it is.
Well, I do have it here if you want me to read it.
Okay. That would be great.
Okay.
I think it's kind of long.
Okay. Yes, it is a little bit long. So www.subscribepage.com. So that's all one word, subscribe page, subscribepage.com/authentic courage book 2. And 2 is with the numeral 2. So Authentic Courage Book 2. So what can people expect from that, if you could share a little bit, some of the juicy goods from that?
Sure. Well, I like to tell people that book is really, for people who aren't ready for one-on-one coaching yet, it's really everything I've got in one book, because we go into tapping, which is another modality that I use, that some people know, and get into all of those limiting blocks and beliefs and doubts, and hopefully release them around all aspects of your business, whether it's social media or networking or all the things that you might be called to do in your business, really getting into what are my personal fears and subconscious personal fears and doubts and blocks there. And one of these steps in the 3 steps is letting go of limiting beliefs. And so the tapping really helps with seeing what those limiting beliefs are and then being able to release them, so that you can just start to take in step 3, those aligned actions that are calling to you, that are coming from that place of divinity, really, from that place of like, this is, this feels good and this feels aligned for me, and not from that place of like, oh, you should be posting 5 times a day and you should be, whatever else the marketing messages are out there right now. Taking those actions from that place of alignment.
Yes, alignment is everything, and and we talked a little bit before the start of the show, and we only have a few minutes left. But I'd love your take on shamanism and business together. Yeah, some people will say that the spirituality side of it has nothing to do with the energy of business, but I think that you and I both have the same concept on that. I'd love for you to share a few minutes on that.
Yeah, it's really funny that you mentioned that too, because people ask me about that really often. Like, how are you bringing shamanism into business? How are you bringing it into corporate settings, or the various places that I really want to bring it? I think it's really how you frame it. I think more and more people are open to meditation and mindfulness, and so sometimes we go in through that door of calling this a drum meditation. One of the practices in shamanism is getting in touch with your higher self. And so to me, that's and even there we can reframe that too, connecting to your heart, connecting to your inner wisdom, inner power. There's ways that we can frame it that say, maybe we don't start with, hey, let's go find your power animal. Maybe we start with, let's find you. Let's find your higher self. And really, even just the beat of the drum, even just closing your eyes and hearing the beat of the drum, that's so powerful for people, because it really does put you into an altered state very quickly without the use of drugs or without any of the plant helpers that are available, but really quickly being able to go into a state where you see different possibilities, you see things open up, or maybe even for the first time somebody is able to shut down the mind chatter, like any other meditation. This is maybe an easy way for them to drop in for the very first time. And then I don't know if this is part of your question too, but the way I utilize shaman for my business personally is, like I said, I have a guide. I have a guide very specifically for my business. So when I have questions around my business, I take that question into a journey and ask. And I also encourage my clients to do the same thing, to come meet your business guide, whoever that is, and then have those conversations, have that partnership, have those, as if you were talking to a friend, but a really, really powerful friend, be able to bring that in to your business and have those answers enliven what you're doing in the real world, what you're doing in the very practical left brain world. And it changes things.
That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. Because the thing is, though, we all have, and we need that all-seeing big brother, big sisterly energy when you can tap into it. It's probably better than any real-world advice you could get, because it's more in alignment with who you are and where you're going. So I think that's amazing, Erin. And I just want to thank you. We're timing out right now, so thank you very, very much for being in the book with me.
Brenda.
We're being covered. and sharing your light today on Ageless Blessings Radio. So, can you give out your website or any contact information really quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's www.erinnewman, ERINNEWMAN.com. And then I also invite you to join my Facebook group for spiritual entrepreneurs. It's called the Authentic and Courageous Spiritual Entrepreneurs on Facebook, and I do a lot of Facebook Lives and sharing and videos in there. So, if you're interested in manifesting and authentic marketing, that is a great place for you.
That is awesome, and I want to thank you for being with us today and shining your light. And and everyone, until we meet again, remember you are loved and you are loved. You are blessed and you are a blessing. Bye for now.
You have been listening to Ageless Blissings with Brenda Pierce. The views and opinions have been those of the participants and are not to be taken as medical advice. For more Ageless Blissings, visit www.facebook.com/agelessblissings. Until next time, have a wonderful body, mind, and spirit-filled week.